from Jim Mooney's World of Weather. Clicked on to long range weather forecast discussion for November 22nd through December 4th. The period for November 22nd to 26th features an M5 pattern. We still have a ridge between the Aleutians and Hawaii. We have a trough here south of the Aleutians over the eastern Pacific and the west coast. We also have another trough here over the eastern U.S. with the ridge in between. The trough is being supported by strong positive height anomalies south of Greenland. This will be the pattern through much of the period. You're looking at the GFS, and I go through each day, and I'm going to the end of the period. You see very little change. Perhaps the trough kind of weakens, the flow flattens a little bit, and we come to the 26th, but we still have our same configuration through the period. And then I go through each model. You see there's very little change during this forecast period. A large stack low is forecast over eastern Canada, will result in low heights and cold advection across the northeast. The system will result in lingering lake effect and orographic snows in the favored terrains in some areas. The system will then begin to shift away from the northeast early in the week, allowing for heights to rebound in the east by midweek. Rain and storms are forecast along a frontal boundary extending from Texas into the middle and upper Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. Rain is also forecast for the middle Atlantic and the northeast. In the west, an active Pacific flow will bring a series of systems into the northwest, spreading precipitation inland to the Intermountain West and then eventually into the plains. We're going to look now for the period for November 25th to the 29th. Here we are at the 27th. We are forecasting a low amplitude flow, almost a zone of flow here across much of the nation, but we still have our ridge between Alaska and Hawaii, eastern Pacific trough, northeast, eastern, western Pacific ridge, eastern Atlantic trough, and we have above normal heights across the center of the continent. This is the 27th look at the GFS, and I go to the 29th. We see very little change. We still have our core of strong positive height anomalies across Canada. And when we look at the rest of the model, we see relatively little change in overall circulation. So during this forecast period, I am forecasting below normal temperatures for the West Coast states and for this region here. And I forecast anomalies of 2 to 6 degrees below normal. Above normal temperatures are forecast for much of this area, with anomalies of 2 to 8 degrees below normal, above normal. Sorry. For precipitation, forecasting for above normal precipitation for the West Coast into the Great Basin, and we're forecasting below normal precipitation from the plains into the Ohio-Tennessee valleys. Now for the period for November 30th through December 4th. Most of the models are forecasting this the same configuration with below to near normal heights across much of the nation, above normal heights across Canada. And you're looking at the GFS again, and I'm going to the end of the period. This is the third. You can see a little change. Then we look at the GFS ensembles. Then we look at the European ensembles. A broad trough across much of the nation, above normal heights across Canada. And then we look at the Canadian. Pretty much all depicting the same configuration. So during this excuse me, for this forecast period, I'm forecasting below normal temperatures across a large area of the nation, across these areas. Here I'm forecasting anomalies between 2 to 10 degrees below normal, and I think the greatest anomalies will be in parts of the Central Rockies. Above normal temperatures forecast for this region, and forecast anomalies of 3 to 9 degrees above normal. For precipitation, look at this, for the first time in a while, forecasting above normal precipitation across much of this area. And I think this is partly due we have a very sharp temperature gradient. So I think it'll be quite stormy across much of the nation. So I'm forecasting above normal precipitation for the west, the lower southern plains, lower Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley, southeast, middle Atlantic, and the northeast. These are areas that need the rain, especially in the southeast. So that is the long range weather forecast discussion for November 22nd through December 4th. Thanks for coming to Jim Only's World of Weather and have a good day.